Hey guys, Dave Desai, welcome back to my channel. So today we have a bunch of little teas here for you. There's quite a few things going on and I want to talk about it and dish about it. We have V shutting down an army, which is quite a funny story, something that I found quite humorous. It's got armies in tears, we're crying, we're dying. We'll talk about why that is and what everyone has been saying. There's also JHOPE over here clapping back at some armies and what has been going on. Then we actually have more updates on BigHit's alleged lawsuits. The lawsuits that they allegedly went after just like a couple weeks ago. So let's get into that stuff. Let's dish about that. If you are new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime a new video drops. If you're a hater, like to be the first to leave your hate comment, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be the first to do so. Now, let's jump into it. The first small piece of tea I want to talk to you about today is JHOPE. My boy, hubby, the J-Star, whatever you like to call him. This is probably one of my most favorite teas I have seen so far. Mainly because what armies have been saying on Twitter has literally left me in tears crying. These comments are absolutely hilarious. I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys and talk to you guys about it. Just a couple days ago, RM and JHOPE had like a live stream. Each of the BTS members have quite recently been doing a couple live streams here and there, and I feel quite blessed. We go from them ever rarely doing live streams, or at least them doing it like once a month, probably more like once every 4 months if we're going to be honest, to now it feels like them doing it once every week. But of course they're at home with nothing to do, so they arrange little live stream events that they host themselves, and it's a good old fun time that we armies can just join and just... So I feel blessed, I am happy, I am mucho contento. BTS is keeping us fed lately. Like, we are full. So they decided to do a live stream to show armies how to customize army bombs. They had some brushes, they had some army bombs, they had some paint, they had some brushes. They drew little paintings on the army bomb and even drew like the BTS logo on there and then had like army's name written on it. They showed their final product and what they did, and both of them kind of stood together and took a picture. I have no doubt that a lot of armies in the next BTS concert will be drawing this design on their army bombs. I might copy their design too if I had an army bomb. Probably the cutest thing about their live stream is how much they struggled, both RM and JHOPE. And honestly, same. Because if I was a good painter, well, I'd be a good painter. Instead, I'm an insult to paint and brushes. I think RM and JHOPE's new designs look very cool. Perhaps it'll be a new trend among the BTS community. I definitely have to give it a try. My only concern is, does this not make the army bombs as bright and colorful when they are waving it in the dark because there's like paint covered in it? But like, I never get tickets anyway, so it doesn't matter if they're not as bright because I'll never be in that crowd holding my army bomb. But of course, after the live stream, armies have found inspiration, and of course JHOPE and RM encouraged armies to kind of paint their own army bombs and make it fun and interesting. Some armies of course shared their personal designs, saying that they obviously had the time to finally customize their army bombs given the quarantine and them being stuck at home. But where do you get all these supplies? Because I don't just carry paint on me. I don't just have art supplies on me. Am I the only one who just doesn't? This one person shared their photo and they wrote this: "Since we're in quarantine right now, I finally have time to decorate and paint my army bombs just like this. Just you wait." Now that obviously looks so good. I'm assuming this particular army did not make this, but that looks very, very awesome. They don't actually sell army bombs like that, but it looks so pretty, and if they did sell it like that, I would 100% buy it. It doesn't look fan-made. It looks like it was officially made by a company. It looks so professionally done. And like, where do you get flowers like that? Like, how can I make it? And how do they stick on? Are they glued? I have so many questions. Now, this of course is the story of rich armies. Us poor armies can't afford to do this. We can't afford things like buying an army bomb and then also buying decorations to put on. For us poor peasants, we just can't afford. Now, while this tutorial live stream that RM and JHOPE had to customize their army bombs and to make it pretty and all that sort of thing, then we have photos of people doing it, personal design. A lot of armies on Twitter and Weverse just did not have the opportunity to follow said tutorial because money and not having it. So of course, us armies are not dumb. We may be poor, but we ain't dumb, so we did the next best thing. They began to draw it in a photo on their hand. You know, we may be poor, but we still want to jump on the trends. We still want to be hip and with it. Now, this is the type of army bomb I can afford, and a trend I can actually do. Of course, this was everywhere on Weverse after the live stream, and of course, JHOPE saw some pictures and decided to have a good laugh and thought it was hilarious. He actually went up to one of the photos and decided to leave a comment. First of all, I would die if he left a comment. Like, literally soul out my body. Second of all, well, I'm dead, so there is no second of all. But third of all, I'm still dead. I'm kidding. JHOPE decided to laugh and comment, and he actually wrote, "Why don't you have an army bomb?" Some armies responded on Twitter with this to say: "Why don't you have an army bomb? Hobby really said, stop being poor and get yourself an army bomb." Why didn't I think of that? We've been buying too much of BTS's merch that JHOPE doesn't realize that half the armies are now poor, and we can't actually afford to buy another piece of merch. This other person wrote, Hobby replied to a Weverse post asking for an army bomb, and Hobby said, "Why don't you have an army bomb?" Who's gonna tell hobby? We spent all our money on MOTS 7 albums, MOTS tours, MOTS merch, etc. and now we're broke. At least I'm not alone. We can go ahead and be poor together. And if all of us pool our money together, maybe we can afford one army bomb. JHOPE isn't the only one basically shutting down armies and responding back to comments on Weverse, and not the only one who's doing it in such a savage way. We also have V who is doing this as well. I don't understand you, V. You flirt with us, then you shut us down, then you flirt with us again, and then you act cold. Which one is it? You need to pick one. Do you love us or do you not? I cannot deal with this. Basically, an army was asking V to marry them. Sometimes V acts all flirty with these types of comments, and then other times he doesn't engage at all. Imagine being rejected by V. That's literally my dream right next to not being rejected by V. A lot of members, including Jimin and Jin, have been asked this question during a live stream quite often, because they're Jimin and Jin. Armies, of course, decided to shoot their shot, as they say. Jimin likes to engage in these kind of questions. He likes to talk about it. He likes to be a little bit flirty. He started smiling and giggling when an army asked him this question, and said that he would have to ask his dad first, and he would have to ask his mom as well. So then he can go ahead and begin the ceremony. He needs those approvals. First of all, yas, parents love me. My only chance to find love is probably going to be through an arranged marriage. Anyway, less on my depressing life. When Jin was asked the question, he very savagely, it's like savage, but savagely, answered no can do. So this just means that he is currently not able to do the thing that you are asking him to do. But it could mean in the future when he is able to and can do, he shall do this for you. So I mean, he clearly didn't take it off the table. When V was asked in the comment section of Weverse, he very sternly said no with an exclamation point. Oh my god, who knew an exclamation point would kill me to the deepest of my soul and would make me cry this much? I would literally be so crushed by this. I would probably jump off a building. I'm kidding, don't do that. But mainly I'd be crushed over the fact that if he had said no and it was me that was asking the question and I had a profile picture on my profile, he would have seen my profile and then said no. Meaning his thought was, wow, this guy's really ugly. No. But truthfully, I wouldn't blame him. I'd be much more shocked if he saw my picture and then said yes. Now, something with Jungkook happened a little bit recently. If you did not know, I will talk about it a little bit. Jungkook was under fire on Twitter recently with a lot of hate comments, and then there was, of course, hashtag protect Jungkook. It was trending. But no surprise there, people like to attack Jungkook. And people like to attack other people on Twitter. I mean, stan Twitter is literally the worst thing in the world. But apparently a lot of people are attacking Jungkook and saying things that are just not true about him. Attacking his character, saying he is doing very criminal activities when he is clearly not doing said criminal activities. I don't think BigHit would tolerate it. I mean, that is not okay, and it's a very vile thing to say about someone. That Jungkook is doing anything criminal. Jungkook and criminal shouldn't even be in the same sentence. What is this buffoonery? But allegedly a couple weeks ago, BigHit had a lawsuit against an 11-year-old boy who was apparently one of these people who allegedly started this hate train. Again, allegedly. If this is true, and I'm pretty sure it may or may not be, I'm not sure how BigHit would have been able to track this 11-year-old boy. Like, how would you know who was the one who started it? But the boy actually did put a letter online basically indicating that they had received a lawsuit from BigHit, allegedly. But the letter could be fake. Obviously, I had a lot of mixed feelings about this, whether or not BigHit is in the right for allegedly suing an 11-year-old boy, and whether this was something that they should pursue if it was real. Because there were a lot of news sources that were talking about this and reporting on this. To me, like a slap on the wrist or a warning is fine. And obviously what the 11-year-old boy did is not okay. Like, the boy needs to learn consequences, but that was not the end of that. Because allegedly BigHit is also suing another 12-year-old girl. She apparently participated in this hate train against Jungkook, and it baffles my mind. An 11 and 12-year-old children are sending hate online. When I was 11 or 12 years old, I was not sending people hate online. I was not bullying celebrities. I was not accusing celebrities of things that are very illegal and things that are made up. Like, this is criminal behavior that is coming from an 11 and 12-year-old. Like, they need to know this. Like, if you're a parent of these kids, you have failed. You need to be more aware of what your kids are doing online, and if they're the type of person to go after and bully people. And if indeed these kids are being sued, then these kids must have said some vile thing. BigHit doesn't just go after someone if you say, oh, I don't like BTS. Like, allegedly BigHit told this boy that he needs to go check himself into the next police station. And at this point, I do kind of agree with the actions being taken. Not just for Jungkook, but for the K-pop community in general. These children need to learn that it's not okay to do what they do. And you can't just deface someone just because you're bored at home. Also, if you go online and you read the arguments on both sides, whether people are for the kid being sued or people are against the kid being sued, you'll see some nasty things on both sides. I'm obviously not going to share them. It's times like this where it's scary to be a K-pop supporter because people are so rude and scary to each other. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it down in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I do have a Patreon if you would like to kind of check that out and kind of contribute back to this channel. Anything kind of contribute back to this channel really does help kind of keep the channel going and make better videos. So I really do appreciate you go ahead and checking that out and kind of giving back. You can also get exclusive content over there, such as music video reactions, performance reactions, and ship reactions. I'll leave a link in the top of the description down below so you can check it out. There's also be 2 videos that will pop up at the end of the screen on this video. So please make sure you click on one of those, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.